Hello and welcome to Three and Out with Jason and Kevin. I am Jason. That is Kevin. We are on YouTube on the Orange and Black Insider. It's us and it's Anthony and John over at OBI, and then on the Believe Network. That's where you'll find the audio side. The Believe Network, the channel is called Believe in Cincy. It's us, it's OBI, it's Talking Football with Bengal Jim and Friends, and then it's Matt and Willie No Ball. It's been a couple weeks. Kevin, how's it going, buddy?
Oh, it's going all right, man. We were going to do a whole thing where we talked about the cap and how the Bengals structured the contracts incorrectly, and we were going to just complain. And I'm tired of complaining. I texted Jason, I think this was yesterday, and said, "Hey, I don't want to do any of that. Let's talk about the rule changes. Let's maybe do a mock draft. Let's get out of this headspace, because the truth is, signing T and Jamar is a good thing.
It is.
There's frustrating components of it, and I've said my piece on those, and I don't want to do it anymore.
Yep, I get it. There's no changing
I
it now.
just want to get back to enjoying ball. So
yep, I totally agree. There's nothing changing it now, and now there's reports now that the Bengals have said, yeah, we're not listening to trade offers for Trey anymore. It seems like they're it seems like they're close. So to having all three, which was like the beginning goal. Obviously, there's stuff that we want them to do. Go out and get Brandon Scherf, get Calais Campbell. If they did those things and brought Trey back, I feel like, hey, look, we're better now than we were last year, right? Yes. But no point in complaining. I'm happy that Jamar and T are here for the next, foreseeable future. Super exciting for them. Awesome stuff for Joe Burrow. We're taking the Bill Polian approach to building a football team, which is we're going to score 50 points a game, and if you beat us, good job. like that's all it is to it. You know what I mean?
Hey,
we're going to win.
It might not be smart, but it's fun. It might not be smart, but it's fun, man.
Yep, it is. We're going to score 50 points a game, and we might lose a couple games because you scored 51, but that's just the way that's fine. They're going to win more often than they lose, hopefully. So, like you said, we're going to talk about rule changes. There's 5 of them, and I think that probably 3 are just kind of, totally buy that, totally agree with it. I think there was a couple that you and I didn't really agree with each other on.
Sure.
So
we'll hit those last.
We'll do that last. So the first one is, this is just making the kickoff the way it was formatted last year. It's just making that permanent, which I'm assuming is going to pass, because it says that it's safer, which I'm sure it is. It's fine. It's fine. It's kickoff.
I didn't hate it like I thought I would hate it. I also thought it would get more interesting as the season progressed.
Yeah.
It didn't. At least not for me. It kind of just stayed boring. Kickoffs are still boring. I guess they're going to try to move it to the 35-yard line. Hopefully that helps. But I'm not overly invested in this. No. I thought I'd care more about it last year, and I just don't.
I thought I did too. And like you, I thought I was going to go into it and I was going to hate it. And then I watched the first preseason game and they lined up that way. And I was like, oh, I don't like this at all. And by the end of that first preseason game, I was like, I don't care about kickoff plays. I don't care. Just like I didn't care before. I personally think we're still on track that the kickoff is just going to be a thing of the past. They're going to get rid of it and just say, start the ball on the 30-yard line and move forward. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's that way by 2028, 2029, something like that. Pretty quick. I could see that being the case.
Sure.
So, but yeah, so that's number 1. No big deal. Okay. This one we both agreed with as well. That in the postseason, not even in the postseason and regular season, I'm sorry, that if a game goes to overtime, both teams have the ball no matter what. So right now,
insane. That's not already the case.
Yeah. It used to be if you scored first, whether it's a field goal or whatever, then you win, and then they changed it to, well, it's got to be a touchdown. But still, it's possible to win a playoff game by a flip of the coin. Like whoever gets the ball first has the best chance. So the fact that it's not formatted like college football, where they say, hey, both teams are going to get the equal amount of times to do this. And then once you get to like overtime 4, you got to start going for 2 after you score. You can't kick field goals anymore. It's fair. It makes sense from beginning to end. It's hard to believe, like you said, that this was not a thing a long time ago. Because you shouldn't ever let
sense when this was a defensive game. I'm not saying I would have agreed with it, but it made more sense when driving down the field and scoring a touchdown was more rarity in that circumstance with two teams that are evenly matched than the expectation. But scoring on every drive, one way or the other, is the expectation now. Like it or not, it's just true. And now it's an offensive game as well. Like there is just absolutely no reason to
especially a playoff
to not this role.
Yeah, especially a playoff game, something that, like, the game really matters. You go to overtime, you can't ever put yourself in a situation where it's like, oh, hey, it's coin flip. That's it. You're going to move on to the next one because you won the coin flip. It's a terrible idea. I think this is a great move for football moving forward.
I really hope this passes. Yes.
Me too. So then there's a thing to expand instant replay's ability to advise on-field officials on specific objective aspects of play and to address game administration issues when clear and obvious video evidence is present. I think this is a good rule as long as it doesn't slow everything down too much. I think what they're talking about is like, hey, this call that you made, it's helmet to helmet over the middle, it was a good clean hit. We're not, we're going to pick up this flag, or hey, you missed this holding or whatever. If there's something glaring.
My understanding is, and I could be incorrect, this is only to be implemented when a flag is thrown.
Oh,
so it will not help missed calls.
Okay.
Which is, to me, the actual problem.
Yeah.
I do think this is like this addresses a different problem, but I think almost everybody would agree it's the missed calls that are more egregious than the incorrect calls. But it is a step in the right direction.
I agree. I think it's a step in the right direction. I do think that a missed call is the problem. I think my big thing is if you were to break down every single play on the offensive line, there's going to be holding on every play from somewhere. Someone's holding. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And I think if we start focusing on that, it could get into a slippery slope. But sometimes it's so egregious too, in such a game-changing moment that it's just mind-blowing. You know what I mean? It really is.
Which is why I feel like it would be an eye in the sky type situation, where they're reviewing every play, but they're reviewing every play in between downs, not on commercial breaks, with no special care taken to how long it takes, meaning they're only going to be likely to catch the more egregious calls. They've got maybe 5 to 10 seconds where they're going to be reviewing stuff. They're not going to be catching every single minor holding, but they are going to catch one of the 3 times to 6 times a year somebody grabs Burrow's face mask and tries to decapitate him.
Yep. We missed that a couple times last year. All right. So here we go. Here's another one. I don't like this rule at all, or proposed rule change. This would eliminate an automatic first down as a penalty imposed for defensive holding and illegal contact.
Yeah, awful idea.
Yeah, and I think it's an awful idea for a reason, and this one reason alone. It's 3rd down and 30. They got to score. They got to get a first down. Why not just grab them and hold them? Just hold them. It's 5-yard penalty, whatever. 3rd down, 25. Now you get an alignment, your defense out there. You like it more against the offense. You know what I mean? Like, that's just I don't like that idea at all.
You're going to be pushing against that boundary the entire
all the time
game. Every time it's something in long. Anytime it's something in long. I mean, not even 3rd, yes, but second and 20. The quarterback just got sacked. Instantly, every cornerback out there, every safety out there, they're all getting grabby.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't like that play just because the potential for a defense to almost cheat. You almost say that's like cheating. You know what I mean?
You know who proposed that, right?
That was proposed by Detroit.
Yeah. Do you know who has the most defensive holding penalties, right?
Oh, does it Detroit? Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Suddenly it all makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yep. All right. So here's the two that are, I think, they have the potential to change the game the most. Well, kind of. So here's the first one we're going to do, and this is just this play. It says the language is to prohibit the offensive player from pushing a teammate who is lined up directly behind the snapper. That's just the tush push. That's all it is. Is this rule, which is proposed by Green Bay, wants to eliminate the tush push.
Yeah.
Get good at stopping it. Just figure out how to stop it. Just figure out how to stop it. Put guys up front, get low, and figure out how to stop it. Don't let them get in 3rd and 4th and 1 anyway. You know what I mean? Like, keep them in that 3rd, whatever. So I think that if you, just because you can't stop it, you shouldn't put a rule in there to cry baby about it. What do you think?
And I feel the exact opposite.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Why?
Okay. Well, let's make our case here.
Okay.
Here's my case. Few points. One, the defense can't do it. It is illegal for a defensive lineman to push another defensive lineman through the line.
Yeah.
So if they can't, offense can't. It's that simple.
Okay.
Two, and this is the most important part to me, it's boring. It's boring football. I don't like it. It's too effective. It eliminates your, don't let them get to 3rd and 1. That's not the game, Jason. The game is sometimes there is a 3rd and 1. And when they're on 3rd and 1, I want there to be some risk involved that they don't make it. And part 3, when I say it's boring and you're like, you can't eliminate that because it's boring, that's the entire game. The entire game has been years and years and years of selectively eliminating every part of this that is boring. It is all arbitrary. It is no rule makes sense. It's just, what do you want the game to look like? Why can't you pass the ball past the line of scrimmage? Because they don't want that to be football. That's why. That's the only reason. They don't want that to be football. So it's not football anymore. And I don't think the tush push should be either. It's boring.
I get it. I get what you're saying. And I do agree. It is boring. It's tough to stop. The stuff about, the defense can't push their own players through the line. Like, I get that. So there's a safety aspect to it, I guess, kind of, because it doesn't look like it should be safe for the
they keep
nose tackle and center.
But nobody ever gets hurt. So I don't think there is.
I know. I mean, I get what you're saying. I do. I get what you're saying. But to me, it says the same group of people who wanted to ban the no huddle offense when the Bengals first started doing it.
Fast-paced football is good for the sport. The tush push is just boring. Nobody's ever like, hell yeah, they're doing a tush push. You're just like, all right, here's a tush push.
Okay.
Yeah, they got it.
All right.
Okay.
I'm not going to completely switch face, but I understand what you're saying. You're right. Fast-paced offense and tush push, those are two different things. Two very different things. I don't think it's going to get overturned. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to keep it where people are going to do it. All right. So we're going to kind of have to agree to disagree there. Here's the last one.
Yes.
Yeah. And I don't see this on the official thing, but we talked about it yesterday. And just even if it's not official, I just want to talk about this. The idea that, let's say, you have the AFC, the Bengals number 1 seed, Chiefs number 2 seed, Bills number 3 seed, and then we got the Texans. Let's say they finish with a 9-8 record. And they win the AFC South because the AFC South sucks next year or whatever. 9-8 record. They get into the playoffs as the AFC South division winner. And then the, Chargers. Let's say the Chargers go 11-5, and they don't win the AFC West because the Chiefs won the AFC West, but they get a playoff spot, but they have to travel on the road and they're going to go play a home team, you know what I mean? Difficult for them, and the team that was 9-8 gets to play a home playoff game. And what this rule change would do is it would eliminate the ability for the division winner to host a playoff game if the division winner has a lower record than a wild card team. And the wild card team would be able to host the playoff game. Division winner would have to travel. They still get in the playoffs, but they would have to travel.
Yeah. I looked it up. It is an official rule.
It is an official rule. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Just now.
I feel one way about it. Sometimes I feel another way about another time. I don't like it. And the reason I don't like it is because you're taking away, you're saying,
I convinced you the other day. We debated this and you were for the rule change.
I know.
But you said you were borderline. You said you were on the edge. This was not the same as the tush push.
I know. I'm sorry, but the more I think about it, the more like when you take away the division winner, like that has to mean something more than, oh yeah, you're going to the playoffs. Like it has to, in my opinion. Winning the division, that's always been like, this is how you get to the playoffs. You win the division. There's no guarantee going as a wild card, but if you want to go to the playoffs, you have to win the division. And I think if you take that away, you know what I mean? If you take that away, I think it hurts the game. I do. I think it hurts the game. And I know it kind of sucks that you can have a situation where the Texans host. The Texans I'm picking on the Texans, but whoever it is, who others, they get in the playoffs with possibly even a losing record. It's possible to get in there like 8-9. You know what I mean? And then that team gets to host a playoff game. You know, while another team who the only reason that they didn't win the division, and I think a good example of this last year is the Minnesota Vikings had to travel, and I think they had like a 12-4 record, something like that. 12-5, something like that. That typically would win the division, and the Lions won it, obviously. But yeah, I don't like it because it makes the division title pointless, in my opinion. What do you think? I think you're kind of on the same
not
line,
pointless,
right?
but it has. I am not pointless, but it has less meaning to it.
Right. Okay.
And I guess I have 2 points here. One is I'm going back to the tush push. It's not. This is entertainment. I get that it's a sport, so it's entertainment that has to obey certain rules and has to be played fairly. That's the idea, at least. But it is entertainment first, which brings me to my second point, which is you said it sucks. It sucks for the Vikings and for Vikings fans. And I get that. That's only 1/32 of the fan base, assuming it's all even. And the rest of us thought it was hilarious. We all really thought it was funny that the Vikings were like 12-13 or whatever it was, and they didn't even
still had to go on the road.
Top 4 seeding. We all talked about it. It was all talking heads were talking about for a day or two. It was great. It was great entertainment. So again, it's good entertainment, and B, good entertainment is also the storylines that develop among division rivals. It is a constant source of both joy and frustration as far as your like division rivals are concerned. And I don't want to take the teeth out of that at all. I absolutely hate the Browns, Ravens, and Steelers, and I don't want to hate them less because hating them is part of the fun of football.
Totally agree with that. Absolutely agree with that. Something else I wanted to say about this little thing is we are using the Vikings as a example here. They were 14-3 last year.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Damn. Right? Yeah. They went on the road to LA, who was 10-7, and they got the shit kicked out of them, 27-9. So maybe playing at home was not going to help. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just, so yeah, I don't like them changing the rule. I understand it doesn't happen every year where you have a wild card team that it just happens sometimes, and it does suck for that team when it does happen. I agree with you. It doesn't suck for us. It's kind of funny for us. It would suck.
And if it ever happens to us, I'll eat my words and I'll admit, hey man, this really sucks. but you know,
for the most part though, I think having a division championship has to mean, we're gonna play a home game, you know. And if you don't win the division, if that, and you know, the other thing too is, hey, you're 14-3. That's awesome. You lost the game you needed to win. The game that you lost, you know, that would have given you that home field advantage. Don't take that away. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't have it where like, oh, you know, we lost our advantage, so we don't get to have a home team or a home game, and now you just say, well, you know, we should get our advantage. You know what I mean? You can't have it one way and do it whatever. It's just
yeah.
No,
so I agree 100%.
Yeah. All right. So those are the rule changes. I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see.
Weigh in the comments. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
I think a lot of these are pretty obvious. I think we'd probably agree on most. But the final two, especially, I am very interested in what you guys
kind of like to see what you guys do. So you want to do a mock draft or so here before we have some time?
We got a few minutes left. Let's do one mock draft. I think we talked about only doing a 4-rounder because neither one of us is super proficient on the later rounds yet. I think we're still both kind of in the weeds as far as learning about all these new players.
Yes, we are.
Also, for being honest, I mean, 5th, I might count it, but 5th, 6th, and 7th tend to be dictated by chaos, meaning you grab the guy who's highest on your board and you move on. It's not about drafting for if you're drafting well, in my opinion, it's not about drafting for need. It's not about what you want to happen. It's literally about like, well, we weren't planning on taking a tight end here, but he's here, so let's grab him. He's 2 buckets above everybody else we got, because it gets pretty chaotic at the end.
Yeah, I think the first 4 rounds, I think that you can find, you know, like starters in the first 4 rounds. I think when you get in 5, 6, 7, you're looking you're looking to fill out depth and practice squad guys for the most
part. You
want
to
not always
drop the speed a little bit on the simulation just so we can see. Doesn't have to be like slow. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
but just enough so we can kind of see stuff going by.
Yeah.
All right, also, the next episode I think is going to be entirely mock drafts. And we will probably explore a bunch of different scenarios. But in this scenario, we are assuming Trey Hendrickson stays.
Okay.
And beyond that, we are assuming nothing else. Correct, Jason? We're assuming there's no other free agency movement. The guards are what the guards are. The defensive tackles are what the defensive tackles are. No Calais Campbell for us.
Okay. All right. Okay. You ready to
go? Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. So, yeah, nothing crazy. The two quarterbacks going first. Do
you think the two quarterbacks are going to go first? I think the Browns are going to take.
I think
the Browns are in on Kirk Cousins. They're trying to trade for Kirk Cousins. That's fine. He's Kirk Cousins.
Bring him up. Yeah, that's fine. All right. So in this situation, the guy that pops right to me immediately, the two guys are Mike Green and James Pierce Jr. Just to put on the other side of Trey Hendrickson. I just don't think you can have too many pass rushers. You got Joseph Osai, but you only have him for one more year, and he's only really had. I don't think I wouldn't consider that to say he's had a breakout season yet. And then we have no
I think
idea.
Everybody's expecting him to this year, but you're right. It's a 1-year thing. I kind of think we should have signed him to a 2 or a 3-year deal. I honestly do.
I was kind of surprised it was just a 1-year deal.
Hit the ground running this year. Not the point of this mock draft, but I would like to see a little more investment in him. But
so, do you agree though that you're one of these guys?
I'm just talking here.
Yep.
I don't. I think it needs to be talked through. I don't think we're right to dismiss a few other players on this list. I don't think we're right to dismiss out of hand Malachi Starks. We need a safety who can do what he can do. I know his athletic testing wasn't what we wanted it to be, but let's be honest, we don't need athletes at safety. We need brains. People who react fast. All production is always trumped athleticism as far as safeties are concerned. So I think Starks is absolutely part of the conversation. So is Kenneth Grant and Josh Simmons. Josh Simmons could easily kick inside to guard. And I think that's something to be talked about. I mean, what is to you the most crippling part of this team right now? What part is the part that, my God, we have to figure this out?
Yeah, it's guard. Without question, it's guard. It's because right now, if they go into the season, you're starting Orlando Brown Jr., probably Cordell Volson at left guard, Ted Karras, and then right guard's going to be a battle between Cody Ford, Patrick that they just signed, and a rookie here that they're talking about. Am I missing somebody?
You're not, and we can always grab a guard later, but traditionally guards don't do super well in the first year. No linemen really do on either side of the line. Right. I feel like somebody in the first, like a Josh Simmons, is the most likely to hit the ground running.
It's possible, yeah. Now, the only thing that worries me is taking a guy in the first that's a tackle and then expecting him to do well. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
I don't. I just don't want to take that chance on a first-round pick and then realize, like, hey, he can't. And we really got Orlando Brown Jr. and Amarius Mims. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to take a first-round pick to sit behind those guys. So, to me, Josh Simmons is out because I don't want to deal with a position change in the first round.
Sure.
But that's me.
I'm looking at just the list here. If we scroll down, Derek Harmon is ranked 30th. He's kind of a crush of mine. Walter Nolan would also be good. I think Loveland is in the conversation, the tight end.
You have Mikel Williams down here.
I think Gray Zabel is 100% a guard, and I think he's in the conversation. So we're not exploring trade backs today, correct?
Right. We're not going to do trade backs.
Okay. But I just want to point this out that
this might be the best situation for us to trade back.
This happens every time. I'm just pointing this out. We're not doing it this time because I don't think the Bengals will, just because it doesn't feel like their move. But every mock draft I do, there's at least half dozen players that I would walk away happy to have on this team. If we that's the way back and get another third, even a fourth, if it was like a high fourth, like I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it at all, even if it limits our options.
This is kind of a really, really good draft class to do that, because they're deep in the position that we need. They're deep in the interior offensive line. They're deep at edge. They're deep at defensive tackle.
Yes.
So trading back and getting more picks doesn't mean you're going to get a worse player. It just means you're going to get a different player.
Yes. But we have a lot of places we need players. If we miss out on that edge guy, but instead have to grab a guard like Zabel, I'm not mad. I'm very, very happy walking away from the first round with Zabel, especially if we get picks on top of it.
Yeah.
But
I would agree
playing the cards we're dealt here, my choice would be Mike Green. I think Mike Green is a incredible athlete. I think. Did you see his 3-cone, man?
Mm-hmm.
It was insane, dude. Yep. Like I think it was Goodberry said he could run the circumference of a dime.
Just gonna say that. Just gonna say Goodberry said he could go around a dime.
Yep. But Mike Green will be my pick here. Let's get somebody on the other side of Hendrickson, and for the first time ever, let's actually have a pretty good pass rush.
Yeah. All right. So let's take Mike Green here at 17, and then we'll. There's going to be. And these are guys that I wouldn't be upset about, trading back up to 5, 6, 7 picks. You know what I mean?
No, look, Derek Harmon. I love Derek Harmon, and he went at the top of the second. Do you think Jackson Dart is going to be a Steeler? Because man, I hope he is.
Yeah, I'd like that.
I don't think he has.
Make me happy.
I don't think he has almost any chance of succeeding in the NFL. I don't care about how good he looks. Throwing the ball. I don't care about his completion percentages. I don't care about any of it. He plays in like the easiest offense ever. He will not be able to play against NFL defenses.
I am excited about the prospect of the Pittsburgh Steelers going through the same quarterback pains that Cleveland has gone through since they've been brought back into the NFL. Just 20 years of crap quarterback play. All right. So for me, I'm 100% in on Xavier Watts, but that's just because I have a crush on Xavier Watts.
But here's the issue. I think every Bengals fan, I feel like about half the mocks I see have Xavier Watts in the second. You know what I mean?
I don't know if he's going to be here.
I don't either. I think he might go beforehand, but he is a safety, and they do tend to be a little undervalued. Mm-hmm. Here's my issue: is if we grab Xavier Watts now, it's the situation the Bengals have put us in.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to have to probably reach for a guard in round 3.
It's not
hopefully the right one falls to us. Let's see who filter positions for me. Let's see what we got on the interior available right now.
I like Luke Condra a lot. I know that they're saying is the IDP is 145. He's not going to last that long. Now I'm not saying we should take him in the 3rd, but I've seen a lot of Max.
I think we all like Tate Ratledge too.
Yes, I like him too.
91.
Yeah, that's a risk.
I think he'll go before that too, but maybe not. Maybe the depth will keep him down there.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens, man. I want Watts. I want him, and we need defensive help. I vote we take him and we see what plays out.
All right. So we got our edge rusher and our
here goes Cam. Got a bow. Oh, Norman Lott or whatever it is. He is a little bit of a draft crush of mine. If we were waiting we'd try to grab somebody from the defensive interior later.
Look at this.
Oh man. What do you think of Marcus Imbo? I think he kicks into guard, and I think he's very good. That's a personal opinion. I know he's technically a tackle. I think he's going to be a guard. I think he's going to be a good guard. But I also like the flexibility because we really don't have tackle depth either.
No. The idea of having
like a 3rd round pick.
Right.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, the idea that Amarius Mims would be the swing tackle last year, he took over right away. So
and we did
Tate Ratledge,
Trent Brown, which we should have because he's also played guard in his life, but whatever.
Yeah. Tate Ratledge is here in the 3rd.
Yeah. Who do you like better? You like Ratledge or
I do like Ratledge. I think he's a starting guard in the NFL. I do. I like him.
They have him at 91. I think he's going to go higher. I mean, it's not that big of a reach. We're at 81. He's at 91. It's not that big a reach.
Yeah.
I think if we had a chance at him in the third,
they should
be a little surprised. Yeah, right. Like, I think he would probably go like, I can see him like very late second, very early third is where I kind of project he'll be. Also, I mean, we got to talk about this. I think we kind of forced our hand here, but I think Terrence Ferguson has potential, tight end.
Yeah.
He's available. I think he has a lot of potential. I think he could potentially be what we want. But I don't think we have the right to pick him now. I think we're in a situation where we have to get a guard. I don't think we can pick him.
I think the issue that like we have with tight end on the team is there's no depth. But Mike Gesicki's not a tight end. He's a slot receiver. And then, we know that Eric All Jr. is going to be out for the year, I think, right?
Yeah, he is.
And then I don't know. I was kind of surprised they didn't get any playing time out of Tanner McLaughlin last year. I don't even know if he got on the field. But they did bring back.
He got on the field like 3 times, and I never noticed him. So that's not a great sign. But I could be wrong. I'm remembering a ghost. Like, he barely existed as far as the team was concerned. So
and a lot of people were excited about him last year. So and then they did bring back Tanner Hudson for a year. So there's definitely room at tight end. I think they have to kind of treat Eric All like he's never going to play football again. And I hope that's right. Do you think that's what they have to do?
100%. He tore that same ACL not just twice, but re-injured it for a third time. Was it a full tear? Was it a partial? I don't know.
Right.
But at that point, it sucks because I was all in on all. I wasn't trying to, but that's But if he comes back, you don't know what kind of player he's going to be. You don't know if he's going to come back healthy. You don't know if it's going to take a year. And honest to God, I don't expect he will come back. So he's a bonus player.
Yeah, and that was the knock on him anyway, is his durability, and that's why he fell to the fourth. What do you want to do here, man? I could go Tate Ratledge. I do like Marcus Mbo, and he does give you some versatility if you need it. There's no swing tackle on this team right now, but you're looking at a guy. I'm assuming that you're looking at this guy as you want him to start, or at least be in the mix.
That's where I'm at, right? I'm going Tate. I was going Marcus Mbo, but I'm going Tate because the likelihood he wins a starting guard spot, considering guard is his college position, I feel like is higher. And I want him to win a starting guard spot.
Okay. Kind of jumped the gun when I hit start when I drafted him there and took off early on you.
Oh, but, no, that's fine. We were on the same page.
Yeah.
Harold Shannon, top of the fourth. Yep. There was our tight end. I know he wasn't going to make it, but part of me was sitting here holding out hope.
All right. So kind of in a situation again, we have our guard, we have our edge rusher, we have a safety. I feel like they could go anywhere outside of wide receiver and quarterback, any position. It's wide open now. You have a tight end here, a couple tight ends here. Gunnar Helms here. But you have another edge rusher. You have a cornerback. You could start filling out depth in the secondary. What are you thinking here? Are you thinking just straight up at this point is just grab the best player and move on, or are you still targeting? I like Jack Kaiser a lot. I don't know if he's a 4th round pick, but I like him. So
is he a 4th round pick for us? A linebacker needy team who also needs players to come in and set the tone for Al Golden's defense.
Yeah.
And if we were to pull in Xavier Watt and Jack Kaiser, that would be those would be 2 players who could hit the ground running to a degree you might not expect them to do on another team.
And Al Golden's system, familiar with his style of coaching and everything like that. I mean, I could absolutely see a case for it. I think Logan Wilson was a 4th round pick. I wouldn't be upset at a Jack Kaiser pick here. But I wouldn't be upset at a lot of these picks. You know what I mean?
No.
So
Are there any like players here that jump out to you? I have a couple.
Yeah. I don't know. Gunnar Helm, I think he could be, add some depth to the tight end room. I don't know much about Kobe Bryant. The guy that really jumped off to me right off the bat was Jack Kaiser, but that's just because I watched him at Notre Dame. I paid attention to him. A lot of these guys I didn't pay attention to. Who jumps out at you?
Gunnar Helm. I think he could be a better pass blocker than people give him credit for. And his yak ability is pretty damn good. I think he is. I'm not saying he has the potential to be like a tight end one, but I do think he could play a pretty decent role, especially if you already have Gesicki out there.
Yeah.
Scroll down, if you don't mind. There's a running back I want to talk about. Jaydon Blue. Jaydon Blue is a freak. He is so fast it's stupid. He has amazing breakaway potential, but he drops the ball. He drops the ball all the damn time. I don't know how often, but a lot. He drops the ball a lot. I do think if we could get his ball security issues under control, he could be an excellent back to complement Chase. Especially because personally, I like as best I can to have your number 2 running back, or even your number 3, but have a running back that plays similarly to your starting running back so that the offense doesn't have to overly change. If it really is just a change of pace back. If you're doing like what the Lions are doing, the offense can change because both running backs are great. But if you have us, who it's Chase Brown, that's clearly RB1, then I like being able to put a Jaydon Blue in there, who's also a breakaway speed freak. So the offense doesn't have to overly change. Because I wouldn't want to change the offense for a late round running back unless they really prove themselves. There's Luke Kandra too. That is somebody we should talk about.
I do like he's a really, really athletic, reliable guard. I like him a lot. I think that he's a guy who could develop into a starter pretty quickly. I do.
That's going to be a reach, but he might not be there when we circle back around. And let's be honest, the Bengals are probably going to have to reach a little bit in this draft. It's just the nature of what they've done in free agency or haven't done.
Especially the way we've had it set up where we said, okay, in this scenario, it's just Trey Hendrickson. They have a lot of holes still to fill. And really, I don't know, they have Tate Bradledge. Is that enough? What if he doesn't develop? Should you double dip and have like some sort of, redundancy there just in case you don't want to have the same issue again? You know what I mean? With Joe Burrow getting hit from the middle again. I don't know. I think there's several ways. Go ahead.
I'm leaning Jaydon Blue.
Okay.
Because I feel like he uniquely fits what our offense will want to do, even if he definitely has some issues. And I'm leaning Kandra because it feels like it's a reach, but we should eat our vegetables. And I'm also leaning Jack Kaiser because it's fun and we need a linebacker. Those are my 3. Jason, take it away. Who we picking?
I think we're gonna go running back. We've gone defense. Let's go right. Did we go defense? Yeah. No, we did defense, offensive line. So let's go someone who's going to touch the ball. Where are we at here? Did I miss him? Gotta go back. No, here we go.
Sure,
all right.
It's not. Yeah.
Jaydon Blue.
Yeah.
All right. So
I wanted Kaiser. I wanted Kaiser too, though. I wanted both.
I know. It's amazing. It is funny how some of these drafts work, where you get so used to seeing people in a certain round, and then when the draft actually comes and the guy that you took in the second 500 times doesn't go until the 6th. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just none of this matters.
Or the opposite, where look at where, again, we talked about this, but look at where Tate Ratledge, I guess that's how you pronounce his last name. Look at where he is on every board, but look at how everybody talks about him.
Oh, I know.
And those two things don't match. Everybody talks about him like starting potential, athletic freak, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But then on every big board, he's going in the 3rd round.
Yep.
I'm not saying I know what's going to happen, but somebody like him, somebody like Xavier Watts too. These are players that I could absolutely see going earlier when we expect them to.
I totally agree with that. Now, if
somebody's going to fall in love with Jaden Blue just because he's so fast and stupid.
Yeah. That's, I mean, speed kills. Speed kills.
It does.
And you can't coach it. You know, you can't make someone get faster. All right. If it played out this way the first 4 rounds, you know, considering the team is where we said it would be with just Trey Hendrickson and they haven't really done much else, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
Okay.
I would love if we grabbed a guard in free agency. That would make this whole thing go down a lot smoother. But nobody has a perfect offensive line. I think Tate can at least get in there and compete.
Yep.
Hopefully win it. If not day 1, then, you know, by
down the line.
Week 8.
Yeah.
I would love Mike Green. I think he's going to instantly improve the pass rush. I think he has day 1 potential. I think Xavier Watts has day 1 potential. And Jaden Blue can start at RB3 and see what he does across the next year or 2.
See what happens.
We got P. Ryan back. We don't need him to perform right away.
Right.
Grabbing a guard in the 3rd is my only problem with this.
Yeah, I agree.
But, you know, there ain't going to be a perfect one. We have too many needs.
No.
And you draft players, not positions, if you can.
Yep. Let's do one more, but let's change the we'll do basically the same thing. But in this scenario, let's say they've re-signed Trey Hendrickson. They went out and they grabbed Calais Campbell, and they went out and they got Brandon Scherf. And that's it.
Okay.
So there's no glaring hole at one of the guard positions. And the defensive line.
There's no glaring hole because Volson's not good. But...
Well, you know what I mean. But like they have a bunch of guys to potentially compete there. So let's go ahead and start this one. I didn't. So, oops. I guess we're gonna have to go fast on this one. All right.
That's fine. That's fine. We weren't planning on doing 2 anyways. So
yeah. So for this one, I'll be honest with you, man. I'm still going Mike Green. I mean, that's just. I think he's.
Well, we talked about this. If we're doing just a random one real quick and busting it out, let's trade back. Or at least let's look at the trade back options.
Let's do it.
I mean, there's a half dozen here, maybe more players I would eat. Oh, yeah, they're not going to trade with them. What other options?
Packers. Green Bay Packers. 23.
Let's see. Let's go back a little farther. Let's go back even a little farther. Who else we got?
Vikings, Ravens, no. Raiders. No, I don't want to go out of the first. Maybe 24.
24. Let's try 24.
Okay. 17 to 24.
They're not going to trade. That's not realistic. They only got 4 picks. They're not going to trade us.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't care what PFF
You want to go back to Green Bay?
Let's go back to Green Bay.
That's okay. So 23 for 17 and maybe 87.
Yeah, let's try it. All right. Okay. Simulation says it'll take it. Let's do it.
Yep. All right. Jump back here to 23. Still got James Pierce. Still got Josh Simmons. Yeah. Yeah.
Still got Malachi Starks right there at the top. We got James Pierce. I'd love to have James Pierce. Josh Simmons, I think he's a day 1 starter. Let's mix it up. I'm going to push for Josh Simmons. I want to solve this guard issue. Let's protect Burrow. Let's fix the problem the Bengals have had since day 1 for Burrow not being able to be protected.
Build from the inside out. I like it. So now the offensive line is set. So now we're looking here. We got, our big defensive tackle in Calais Campbell. I wouldn't mind another edge rusher here. I don't know if this is going to be quite the pedigree as you're looking for from like the first round, but still it's second round guy.
I also if we're talking edge rushers, I really like JT. State. I think he's got a
like him.
I don't know why. I guess they're worried about I don't watch a lot of college ball, so I'm watching the highlights now. That's what I'm doing. You do watch a good amount of college ball, especially Ohio State. Why is he not?
I have no idea.
Being talked about. His production last year was wild. He has 12 sacks or something. Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that. 15 sacks last year.
Yeah.
PFF has him at an 86 too. I'm just now getting on this train, but I don't know why he isn't being talked about. I feel like I'm missing something.
Maybe it's just the 1 year of heavy production,
Yeah.
Same amount of snaps in 2024 as 2023, but he didn't do much in 23. So it could be nothing.
We have his age. What's his age? Do we know that? Is that on there?
He is 21.
21.
6'4", 270 pounds. That's what we're doing, man. This is where we're going.
21.
Right,
he's 21 years old. He's still ascending.
Yeah. You good with this?
He was like, I thought when you clicked that, he was going to be like 23, 24 years old.
You know what I mean? So
like,
too. Yeah.
Because he was going to be like, oh, well, it's because he's peaked. No.
Yeah.
Grab him.
Nope.
I like him. And if I'm wrong, because I've just started my like evaluation on him. Tell me in the comments. But to me, I don't know why people aren't talking about him.
All right.
All right. Round 3.
Edge. We got our safety. Or no, who did we get in the first round? We got our
we got our edge and we got our guard.
Guard, yeah. Let's see here.
So let's see. Now I feel like we got our guard.
Yep.
We can look around a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, because there's probably who do we have in the interior?
We got Jordan Phillips.
Defensive interior.
Yeah, we got Jordan Phillips there.
There's Tate again. I mean, honest to God.
Tate Ratledge again.
You could so easily talk me into grabbing Tate here. Again,
we're just gonna have so many guards.
Double dipping at two guard. We need them. We have nobody. You know what I mean? Like, but but in this scenario, we did say we'd sign Sheriff.
Right, we had Sheriff. Say his name. So we're not gonna go guard here.
What about Harold Fannin?
I know. My thought is
but he can block. I'm telling you, he kind of can. It's not great, but it's pretty good.
He's an athlete, man. He's an athlete. He's going to be able to stretch the field. They got Gesicki for 3 years. I don't know.
But can Harold Fannin block? I think Harold Fannin can probably learn to block.
It's be easier to learn how to block than learn how to run.
They didn't ask him to do it a lot, but when he did it, he didn't look bad.
Do you want to go?
I think
he might be available in the
Deion Walker at defensive interior. I think he might also be a good pick, but he's so big. Is he a nose? We just got a nose.
345.
Fannon's kind of a draft crush of mine.
Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah.
345 pounds. A big boy.
He didn't test great, but at that weight, I don't care because he tested really good for that size.
This is tough. I think you could go a bunch of different ways here. I like Fannin. I do like Fannin, and I don't know if he's going to be. And, I think the other thing, too, is when you find a player that you really like and you've put yourself in a position where you can draft best player available, what's the difference between, hey, let's take the best player available, and I really believe in this guy. He's not going to be there in the 4th. Let's do it. You know what I mean? Let's do it.
I think Harold Fannin's a choice. I think he's my choice. I think he's your choice. But real quick, he had a drop in production. But Deion Walker is 21 years old. He weighs 345 pounds, and he had 8 sacks in 2023.
Okay, let's take Deion Walker. I'm
not saying no.
No, I know.
That's
just a crazy stat.
He only had 4. He only had 4 sacks, but from the interior, 4 ain't bad. But for that size, it's just worth noting that he's got some juice. Like he's got some juice. He's not just a nose.
345.
But I kind of want to go Fannin.
Yeah, I do too. But 345, even 4 sacks from the interior is pretty crazy.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
All right, so we're going to take care.
Well, he's a nose. He is a lot of things. He's a lot of things.
Hey, look what we got here. We got another pick here, 87. So I don't see why we can't take both.
Let's see it. Let's see.
He's gone? No, he's not.
He is.
Right there.
Oh, no, there he is. Also, David Walker on the edge is great.
Sorry.
No, it's just worth talking about.
Yeah.
I think David Walker has a lot of potential. So we got our tight end. We got our defensive interior. We got our pass rush. We got our guard.
Yep.
I mean, to me, those are the big 4. Those are the big 4 for me.
I'd say here.
And I'm happy with all 4 of them. I think all 4 of them have a lot of potential.
Oh, yeah. I totally agree with that. I think this is a great draft. I think here I'm probably looking at a cornerback to start filling out the depth in the defensive backfield, just because that was such a struggle last year with health.
Sure.
So I like Kobe Bryant.
Is Jay Kaiser out?
Oh, man. Is he here?
Because I would really like to bring in.
Oh, he's there.
I would really like to bring in at least one. We didn't grab Watts this time.
Yeah.
Let's bring in one of Golden's guys.
I like
you know what I mean? I think Jack Kaiser's a hell of a player. I really do. I don't think he's going to be a game breaker. You know what I mean? He's not Micah Parsons. You're right. He could be
right.
He could be a plus side linebacker.
He goes in there, he's familiar with Al Golden's system. And let's say, even if he's a backup and Oren Burks steps up, you still have to replace ADG too. You know what I mean? It's not like you just one linebacker and you're good. Let's do Kaiser here. Let's do it. I like the idea. Yeah. Okay. I like that idea. So I think
we reached for him. I think there's a chance he'd be available in the 5th. A chance. Yeah. I actually don't, but if you want him, go get him. I don't mind reaching a little bit once you get to pick 4. Once you get to round 4, I mean, because at that point, what does it mean to be reaching? Everybody's boards start to diverge to such an extent that my reach might be your, oh my God, I can't believe he's still there.
Right. Oh yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, and I think all these guys have potential, and I think they all fit. I think they all have a role that they could possibly play, which is big too.
This draft kicks ass as far as I'm concerned.
I really like this draft a lot. I think the thing that this draft shows me is, one, they have to go out and they have to do some more work in free agency, right?
Yes.
2, I think that this draft shows me that trading back is maybe the best possible thing they could do.
Yeah, best pick at 17 is to trade back to pick 24 or whatever, 23.
Yeah, but I mean, if you move back and if you have if you're at 17 and there's like 6 guys that you'd be really happy with, it could really help you win, and you move back to 23 and that list gets cut down to 3, that's fine.
Absolutely fine.
Grab one of those guys and then you add an extra 3rd round pick or an extra 4th round pick, and then maybe that player turns into something big. So this draft seems to be like it's tailor made for the Bengals to trade back and accumulate more picks.
Yeah.
Hopefully they can do that after they do something like sign Scherf or bring in anybody. Just Campbell and Scherf. That's all I want. That's all I want. It's not too much to ask. It's a lot to ask, but whatever. I'm pretty happy with this one, as long as they go about that way. This is going to be a hell of an offensive line.
Even if they don't, I prefer this draft to the last one. I like bringing in Josh Simmons out the gate. It's not sexy. It's not.
Yeah.
But it is necessary to a very large extent to get somebody who can step in day one and compete for a position, to win a position, somebody who you'll be comfortable with at guard for the entirety of the season. And then if he has to flip out to tackle, he can do that. I love that we grabbed Harold Fannin just because he's a draft crush of mine. So is Deon Walker. So as far as I'm concerned, round three kicked ass. Yeah. And I need to look more into that edge guy, JT, and I'm not going to try to pronounce his name. He's the Ohio State edge. For those listening, everything about him looks great. I got to figure out what's wrong with him because I don't know why.
I think it just might be. It just might be that this is a draft class with just a ton of really good edge rushers, and I think that what I've noticed about the edge rushers in this draft class is that, like, unlike last year, well, no, that's not true. You have one that's head and shoulders above everybody else, and that's the kid from Penn State. But there's so many good ones that I could see 2 or 3 of them being like top 5 picks in draft classes that aren't great, edge rushing draft classes. So deep, it's like it's meant for us to trade back. But they got to do more. They have to do more. Right now, Joe Burrow still has no reliable guard. And talking about, if you do this, you have an offensive line with Orlando Brown Jr., let's say Josh Simmons at left tackle, left guard, and then Ted Karras, and then Brandon Scherf right guard, Amarius Mims at right tackle. That's immediately a great offensive line.
Yes.
And then you have...
That is the best offensive line Joe Burrow has ever had. You give him Harold Fannin as a weapon. It's a joke, but we're putting up 40. We're putting up 40 almost every game.
I could see it. But I think what else is important about that offensive line is when you look at the backups and you say, well, Cody Ford can play 4 positions.
Yes.
And Cordell Volson started for however long. He's not going to get cut. He's on a rookie contract. You're still going to have him in here as one of the best backup guards in the league, maybe.
Yeah.
And then You have Matt Lee, who could step in at center possibly and move Ted Karras around. It's probably the most versatile.
I thought he was a
group.
pure center, but they've also referred to him as a backup guard.
I know.
I think they just like him and they want to get him on the field somehow.
I think so too.
But I guess he's got potential there as well. I haven't seen him practice. So I don't know.
But I
put him out there in the jumbo set. That matters.
Yeah. I know. He's been like the number 6 guy. That's big. That means they trust him, But I think that offensive line is not only is it the best offensive line Joe Burrow has had, but the backups are among the most versatile backups that you could possibly have. They could play multiple spots and do it well. So, if you're watching, comment which one did you like more? Obviously, they're two different situations. The first one, we're acting like, they didn't go out and do anything. And then this one, we're acting like they did in free agency.
Even if they did nothing, I still prefer the second one.
Okay.
It's that trade back, man. It's that extra, the fact that we were able to dip in again. Because the third round, again, this is a deep class. There's a lot of potential role players, minimum starters at the high end that you can
the
find
positions that the Bengals need.
Yeah. And we got to add our tight end, which, I really wanted to do.
Yep, I like Harold Fannin a lot. All right, this has been a long one.
Yes,
we
didn't mean to do that mock. We meant to do it quicker, but we kind of got into the discussion, which is the whole. We've got to end this. But that's the whole reason of doing these. It's not about what's right. It's not about trying to maximize. Oh, here's the perfect draft. If we wanted to do that, we could just do 50 of them and then come and show you. It's about the discussion. It's about saying, hey, I like this prospect. Do you think they'll be here? Is it worth taking here? What's the depth look like at this position? Is there somebody I like 90% as much that I could get around later? And then to even just pass it out to the audience and go, hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of Deion Walker? Whatever his name is. But what do you think of Harold Fannin? Do you think Harold Fannin can block?
Yeah.
I think Harold Fannin can block. But that's what these are about. It's just about kind of testing the waters. Seeing what people think, seeing what you think.
I think it's always going to be easier to take a guy like Harold Fannin and say, hey, we're going to teach you how to block than it is to take a guy like Drew Sample and say, hey, we're going to teach you how to run like Harold Fannin, because he can't do it. It's not possible. You know what I mean?
Fannin at least starts as an athlete.
Yeah. Starts as an athlete. And if he can't block, Mike Gesicki's carved himself a nice career by being a big slot receiver that pretends he's a tight end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No reason you can't do that with a couple of guys. So, all right. Got anything else, man?
No, that is it.
All right. Once again, we are on the Orange and Black Insider on YouTube. It's us and it's OBI with Anthony and John. And then on the Believe Network, our channel is called Believe in Cincy. It's us, it's OBI, it's Talking Football with Matt and Willie, and it is Talking Football with Bengal Jim and Friends. Speaking of which, tickets are on sales for Jungle Jam 2025. Sorry, in July of 2025. Kevin and I went last year. It was a great time. Great time.
I think we're going to go again this year, but we're still trying to plan it out.
Yep, a lot of current and former Bengals were there last year, and the place it was at over in Northern Kentucky was awesome. And I just imagine it's just going to be bigger and better this year. So,
because last year was the first year they done it.
Yep.
I kind of didn't know what to expect, and it exceeded my every expectation, especially for a year one event.
Yep.
I think it could be a hell of a time next year or this year.
Absolutely incredible, 100%. So, check that out, and we'll catch you here in a couple weeks. Who day?
Who day?